Okay, hello. Welcome to another episode of The Patient Teacher. I'd really like it if you subscribe to my channel. I'm on YouTube and there's a podcast with The Patient Teacher. So go there and subscribe. I'm going to try to keep doing videos to help you learn English. This one, we're going to learn how to ask a question. How to ask a question. When you're learning English and you're using it, you're going to want to ask questions. Okay? So if you're asking a question about a person, you're going to use who. Notice that the first 5 all start with the letter W, so we call them the 5 W's. Okay? If you're asking a question about a thing, you're going to use what. If you're asking a question about a place, you're going to use where. If you're going to ask a question about something to do with time, you're going to use when. And if you want to know something about the reason, you're going to use why. Okay? So we'll have examples in a minute of questions. The other way you can ask a question is to use how. And the final one is the word do. This is often used, do, as you'll see in many instances. Anytime something's happening, you'll use do. I put down here the third person is does, because there's always an S for third person. And if you're asking a question about the past, it would start with did. Okay? So you have the 5 W's, how, and do. Okay? So, if you're going to ask a question, you have to remember that the order compared to a regular sentence will be different. So let me demonstrate. A regular sentence will have subject, verb, object. Right? So if you remember the subjects, I, you, or she, and of course we, you, and they. Right? And then you would have your verb, like go, or come, or kick, and you would have your object. So, you come to school, right? She goes to the mall, right? When you have a question, we reverse the order of those two. Verb plus subject. Okay? Now the words we use, like the 5 W's, they will go here at the beginning. Right? Then you'll have your verb, and in many cases it will be do. Where do, that would be the first verb, the subject, you, and then the second verb, for example, want. Where do you want to eat, for example? Okay? So when you have 2, then you're going to have 2 verbs. Okay? So remember, regular sentence, subject, verb, object. Question, reverse the order, verb, subject. Okay? Now, if you're not using the 5 W's, you could have a sentence like, am I, right? Verb, subject. Am I allowed to come, right? Or are you coming, right? So verb, subject in a question, okay? Now, something you'll learn later with the present perfect tense, if you're asking a question, right? Let me just put it here. Present perfect tense, right? It's a tense. You'll have they been here for long, right? So have is what we use for perfect tenses. Here's your subject, and here's your other verb. Have they been here for long? Okay? Now, is there anything else we need to know? Yes, if we use future tense, right, then of course we're going to use will goes with a verb for future tense, right? So then we would have, will you be eating with us, right? Will is going to come here, okay? So you have will, and then subject, and then verb, okay? Okay, so that's it for questions. That's all the rules in the grammar. Now let's give some examples that we would use with the 5 W's. Who do you know? Just put ... You could use any words to ask the question. Who do you know? That works here, right? What are you doing? Or the question we ask most often, what do you do? Right? Your job, your profession. What do you do? Where do you live? Where do you live? When does the class start? And why do you want to learn English? Okay? So those are some different examples of questions. We use who, what, where, when, why. The 5 W's. Or how, or do. We put these 5 W's in order because they're easier to remember. Who, what, where, when, why. Okay? Okay. Don't forget to subscribe, The Patient Teacher. Bye-bye.